Hello, I'm here at Fabric Creations. My name is Phyllis, and I am demoing the Quick Easy Border Mitering Tool today. And it actually has a nice chart inside of it that tells you how to measure what size borders you need to miter, and tells you how to miter the border in terms of sewing those on the quilt, how to sew your borders onto the quilt, and then gives photo directions of how to use the mitered bordering tool. So I've sewn my borders onto my quilt, and it tells me to work from the back and take one border and flip it out of the way. Then I'm bringing this border down, and I'm going to line it up with my tool. And there are lines on the tool to help me line my border up. So there's the seam line and the raw edge, and then these lines to help you line up your actual border. And if you had multiple borders, you could match your multiple borders or measure from these lines. So I'm starting with this one, so I need to flip my tool over, and we will be flipping it back and forth. But I'm laying that on the quilt top, the center of the quilt top, and I'm matching my seam line and my raw edge. And I did stop on my seam line 1/4 of an inch from the edge of the quilt on both borders. And now you can see, excuse me, that I can use these lines that are out here on this mitered part to make sure I have that straight. So I'm lining up a line here with this print on it, keeping this on my border of my quilt. And I'm also going to make sure that I'm on the same mark out here, so I know I'm squared up. And you can see that my mitered border tool is not quite long enough for this big border to reach all the way out. But I'm taking just, all rulers almost have a 45-degree angle, and I can take that 45-degree angle and line it up with the edge of my mitered border tool to extend that out to the end of my border print. At this point, I'm going to mark a line. I'm going to draw that right on the border. I'm using the new to us Dritz iron off pins. Make sure I don't lose my, as I get to that second ruler.
I wonder if you had used Tarot Magic on that border at that end, if it would have stayed firmer for you.
It would have, and I also could have used a chocolate liner on this, which would have the fabric moving a little less than this, because that is a line that's going to come, you know, not be seen. But now I have that marked, and what that does is that gives me a cutting line, because the tool has you draw the line 1/4 of an inch from the seam line. So instead of messing with this whole piece, I'll be able to cut on this line. So we'll stop now, and we'll come back when I have that cut and the other one marked. Hi, so I have now marked the other border and trimmed them both on the cutting line, and I've pinned them so that I can sew from the outside to the point right here where my where I was a 1/4 inch away from the edge. So let me sew that, and then I'll show you when we're done. And here you are with a perfectly mitered border. And the one thing you want to remember is that after you trim that, cut that on your cutting line, you want to sew it right away so that it doesn't stretch, because these are on the bias and they could possibly stretch if you don't sew that right away. And the Terrell Magic, or heavy starch, would also help prevent that from stretching. So I hope you enjoyed that demonstration, and if you're interested in the quick, easy border mitering tool, let me know. I'm Phyllis at Fabric Creations. Thank you.